Now from News Channel 12, alerting you to severe weather danger. We begin with Storm Track 12 weather.
We continue to track Tropical Storm Ophelia tonight. Took a long time for it to be declared a tropical storm, but we've been following the storm for days now, Donnie, and we do have crews all across Eastern Carolina tonight bringing you information to help keep you and your family safe. And you can hear the sounds out there right now as the rain comes down and the winds continue to pick up. Donnie, what's the latest?
Well, the winds is certainly going to be a situation. We talked about that. The rain is coming down and has been most of the morning. Let me give you a couple of quick live shots as you take a look outside at our camera in Morehead City. You can see definitely the wind blowing the water there, plus the rain coming down at a pretty good clip. And again, about 69 degrees, so the temperatures have been held down because of the wind and rain, but all across the area, these are the same type pictures we're seeing and pushing the water up. Here's another shot. This takes you north to Chocowinity, 66 degrees here with the windy conditions, north at 22, and you can see the rain falling at Chocowinity. Now, the reason is this system here, and check this out, this is kind of concerning, 70-mile-per-hour winds, just 4 shy of becoming a hurricane. So we have to keep an eye on that as this starts to lift to the north and in our direction. It's moving north-northwest at about 13, headed to near our coast in the overnight period, and 986 millibars of pressure. But here's what we're expecting as we go through the overnight. This will continue to make its way into our area Saturday afternoon to the north, right around Berkeley County or so, and then making its way on up to the north as we get into Sunday, and should make it in and around Washington, D.C. by later in the afternoon or early evening on Sunday as it continues to weaken. I'll break down all the details. We'll be taking a look at all the information you need to know to keep you safe as we go through the rest of the evening, coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Donnie, thanks. And be sure to chime in with your photos and videos if it's safe for you to do so. Just head to our website, WCTI12.com. And we begin tonight in Carteret County. That's where News Channel 12's Chris Young is live, checking out the situation at Atlantic Beach.
Well, we've actually moved inland towards Morehead City. We're over here at Carteret Community College. Now,
Okay, here he is at Carteret Community College, and you can see lots of rain coming down. We're looking back at the ocean here. Now, just an hour ago, he joined us live from Atlantic Beach, where the winds were picking up. We could hear the howling winds and even saw a person still on the beach. Right now, no one out here, and hopefully most people are heeding the warnings, staying inside and staying safe. So we have several crews in Carteret County tonight. That is just one of them. We are seeing flooded roads there as well. Rebecca McGann has been in Down East Carteret County all day, and she joins us now live. Rebecca, what kind of conditions are you seeing now?
Well, let me tell you guys, that wind and that rain is really pelting my back right now. It is so strong out here in the Down East area. I'm on Highway 12 where you can see this wind and this rain has been pushing the water up onto the highway. It's just been getting worse as we've been out here. It's just been kind of pelting my back, like I said. And the visibility is incredibly low because of that wind and that rain. You will not be able to see a lot of these places that have been washed over by the water. We've been out here for a few hours. We started out here around 11. There wasn't really much going on, but now, as you can see, it is just pelting my back right now. This water has just been pushing up. There's been a lot of areas. There are still some dry areas on Highway 12, but there are also a lot that are completely washed over. And because of that low visibility, it's going to be hard to see some of those areas. I missed one myself as we were driving up here. So make sure that you are going slow. You are taking your time if you are driving out here. The Cedar Island Ferry is canceled for the rest of the day, so you shouldn't need to go out to that. But if you are driving on Highway 12, please be careful. Please stay safe. And I'd avoid it if you could. We'll keep you posted. We'll be out here and we'll have more on how this is coming up. So live in Carteret County, Rebecca McGann, News Channel 12.
All right, Rebecca, we want you and all of our crews to stay safe out there as well. You're seeing all that overwash along Highway 12 in Down East. And continuing live coverage tonight from Pamlico County, News Channel 12's Amanda Denise has been in Oriental for hours today. I've seen your Facebook Live posts. We saw the flooding when it first started, and it looks like the water is rising, Amanda.
Yes, Val, as you mentioned, we are out here in Oriental. We actually moved around the corner from where we were earlier today. We were actually on Factory Street in the intersection of Main Street. And you can see a high water sign over there. Belfast, if you can just pan down below me, there is a lot of standing water here. I mean, a lot. And I'm actually standing in part of it here. As you can see, my feet is kind of covered up here. But we are advising people just to stay safe and stay clear of this area. Again, we are right around the corner from the Marina Inn where we were earlier today, so flooding is all throughout this area. But Belfast, if you actually pan that direction, the streets are fairly clear, so if you're driving over here, you might can get through here safely. But again, please steer clear of this area. It's strong winds, of course. Heavy rain is picking up constantly by the minute. And I'm just trying to keep my hat on so you can just see how strong the winds are here in this area. But we will continue to keep you posted on air and online. But for now, reporting live in Oriental, Amanda Denise, News Channel 12.
All right, Amanda, thanks. And as the evening wears on, there will be other concerns about storm surge and even the possibility of tornadoes as things worsen. Now, Donnie is going to have the forecast and the timing for the potential for all of that. We're not here to, make you scared in any way. We just want you to be informed and to stay safe. Our Tyler Harden is in the newsroom now. He has some new information for us, Tyler.
Val, earlier today, Governor Roy Cooper issuing a declaration of state of emergency. And now essentially what this does, this 5-page document temporarily waives some transportation regulations, specifically as it relates to anything with livestock or agricultural products. So this is in effect while the storm moves through Eastern Carolina. As we've seen, let's turn over to the roads. We just saw some of our reporters out there. Right now, NCDOT is reporting one incident alert. This is actually in Surf City, which is in Pender County. It's South Shore Drive near North New River Drive, where they say they're experiencing some high flooding. People should certainly turn around, do not drown if you are in that area. Let's look at some other cameras we have around Eastern Carolina. First off, in here, this is at NC 58 at Atlantic Beach Causeway. You can see there are still some cars on the roads right now. There are people moving out and about. Of course, you got to stay safe. We'll also move more towards the Outer Banks. Right now, we have the Hatteras Inlet Ferry. The parking lot is completely empty. That's because the ferries are closed while the storm moves through. So important to note if you're in that area. Now, NC 12, north of Hatteras Village, you can see those waves crashing over, but the road is still fairly clear at this hour. But if you move towards Buxton, you can't even see the lines or the lanes here on this road for NC 12. So the conditions are changing minute by minute. Some people may have a flight that they need to catch. Well, unfortunately, those flights are canceled. We have a canceled flight out of PGV, Pitt Greenville Airport. That's canceled for tonight at 11:58. That was when it was scheduled to take off. There's lots of flights happening and canceled also for EWN, Eastern Coastal Carolina Airport. Right now we have 3 flights, 1 scheduled for tonight, 2 for tomorrow that are canceled. And if we head down to Onslow County, we have OAJ. As of right now, we're seeing those flights are on time, the ones that are departing later tonight and into tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on all of that's happening, whether it's on the roads or to the skies. And coming up a little bit later, I'll also let you know of the power outages that are rolling in Val as well.
All right, Tyler, thank you. And you can stay up to date with everything weather wherever you go. Just download the Storm Track 12 weather app. You can point your cell phone camera at the QR code on your screen or find the app in your Apple or Android app store. And if we lose power tonight, your cell phone is going to be a great tool. Be sure to have it charged up just in case. Our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned and stay safe.
Well, we continue to track the latest information on Ophelia, and again, it's providing quite a bit of rain across the area. The 5 o'clock update, in case you missed it, 70-mile-per-hour winds now as it continues to move toward our coast. It's pushing the rain in. You can see all the bands of rain moving from the southeast to the northwest, and some heavy rain that we've been seeing in many locations. You can see that in the yellow and the orange, as well as the red, especially from Plymouth back over toward Columbia, then Greenville back to Washington, and then to the south we go. Heavier rain around Vanceboro right now, continuing into New Bern, also near Kinston and Jacksonville. You're picking up a heavier shower headed your way, and these have been coming through in waves. So right along the Crystal Coast, you saw our live shot there a couple of minutes ago, and down east Carteret, especially as you made the turn there at sea level, headed out on Highway 12 where you saw Rebecca a couple of minutes ago. Plenty of rain and wind, and we still have this system well to our south to pull in some more rain as we go through the rest of the afternoon, the evening, and the overnight. The winds, that's going to be a big issue as well. You can see along the coast anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour with the gusts up to 30 to 35. And the areas that you see highlighted in purple, that's where we're seeing the storm surge warning that will be in effect through tomorrow. I'll continue to break down the information for you and follow the storm coming up as we go through the afternoon.
Okay, and most people by now have secured their objects outside. I had to bring in the plants this morning, lots of them, so they're in the garage, and hopefully they'll get through for just a couple more weeks that we have left in this season, especially when it comes to plants, that is. Now, we're going to head out live to Emerald Isle. We're going to check in with who's usually our sports reporter, Luke Schwartz, and today he's doing storm patrol. How's it going, Luke?
Well, my name may not be Karen Smith from Mean Girls, but I can definitely say it is raining out here at Emerald Isle. We've been down here for about 3 hours, and conditions have changed from a lot of rain to a lot of strong winds to it dying down. But we've been able to come into contact with a few people coming down here, which, to my surprise, if I saw this weather, I'd be boarded up, locked inside my house. But some people have been saying, I want to get out, I want to go see the water, and was able to catch up with a few surfers, too, that said it's great conditions to be out here. You do have to take some precaution, though, to the strong winds, because if it comes from a certain direction, you don't want to get swept out, especially when there's some debris, too, from jellyfish remains that could go up and sting you. But what I will say, too, though, is the fact that there's a lot of rain, a lot of wind, of course, and there's a red flag warning out here on Emerald Isle Beach, which means there is rough surf, it's scary conditions, and to just take a lot of caution when you come out here to the beach. Make sure you're also wearing some coats, some rain pants. I made the mistake of not wearing boots. I'm wearing shoes that are way too low, so my socks are wet, so don't make the same mistake as me. And if you're out here for a long time, you're going to get some pruny fingers, and I won't show you because I don't want to scare the viewers at home, but just be sure to be safe out here. It's still wet. I'll keep you updated throughout here at Emerald Isle, but for now, conditions aren't too bad, but winds and rain are consistent throughout here. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Luke, we got to get you some socks, man, and help you stay dry out there. Tomorrow is the first day of fall, so we have a storm rolling in just before that happens. And it's all hands on deck tonight for Tropical Storm Ophelia. Meteorologist Grant Carlson is in New Bern. And Grant, what are you seeing and hearing right now?
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Val. We're right here on Front Street in New Bern. We're kind of monitoring the news right now and already starting to see about a foot, maybe 2 feet of inundation, that storm surge due to the persistent easterly, northeasterly winds. And as you've been seeing all across eastern North Carolina, a lot of water levels are on the rise. So Front Street has been closed down about 15, 20 minutes ago. They did put up the barrier. People are still driving through, but over the next few hours, they might potentially see this road in the overwash. One thing I wanted to mention is that low tide, high tide is very important. Low tide is coming. We're heading into low tide, so water levels are already elevated. And as we head into high tide, next high tide is 1:30 a.m. After about 7:30 p.m. this evening, we'll start to see water levels really start to rise. So any sort of driving you need to do now and try to stay inside as much as possible. We'll have more coming up, but for now, I'm meteorologist Grant Carlton in Craven County.
All right, Grant, an area prone to flooding right along Front Street in New Bern, and we'll see how things pan out there. The list of cancellations, meantime, is growing tonight. The Emerald Isle Beach Music Festival was called off because of all the rain and wind this weekend. Organizers say they are working to try to bring back the event at a future date. The Beaufort Pirate Invasion is still happening at the Gallants Channel extension, but with one change. The Pirates Parlay that was set for tonight, well, that's now delayed until Sunday. Right now, everything else is expected to go on as scheduled. Our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues after the break. Stay with us.
Well, we continue to track the impacts of Ophelia as we go through the next couple of hours. This system will move closer. You do need to know that we have been seeing some certainly increase in strength here. 70-mile-per-hour winds, part of eastern Carolina's coastal areas, actually been placed under a hurricane watch because you're getting awful close to that 74-mile-per-hour range. And again, this is still well offshore, not expected to make landfall until tomorrow morning. Here's the track, as you can see, and notice that about 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll just be getting close to the coast. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, though, we're looking at this to be in the northern part of the viewing area up near Bertie County, making its way into Virginia. And you can see crossing over and near Washington, D.C., making its way toward New York City, or at least will turn out along Long Island. So again, we'll be tracking this as we go through the weekend, but it should pass through our area by tomorrow night. Things should really start to quieten down as it moves up into Virginia. Take a look. Here's the rain that's associated with it, moving from the southeast to the northwest, and you can see the heavier bands that's been moving through today. Some of you may be receiving quite a bit of rain or have received this morning, and with lots more on the way. And you can see the heavier rain continues near Plymouth and Jamesville and Williamston. A little bit lighter rain right now near Columbia, but if you get back over to near Washington and Chocowinity and to Greenville down to Vanceboro, and even over towards Snow Hill, although Snow Hill, you are right on the edge of the light rain and the heavier rain that's headed your way. Pretty heavier shower right now going on in Kinston. I looked out a couple of minutes ago here at the station, and we've been seeing the rain pick up. You saw Grant Carlton a couple of minutes ago. He is showing some of that heavier rain and those gusty winds, and that's what we're expecting. Still much more to the south. This is a part that we're also seeing with the lightning that's starting to pop up. And that's going to continue to swing around and in our direction in the overnight. I do want to mention that there is the potential of a spin-up tornado or two, so it is elevated, the tornado threat with this system. Here's what we're looking at wind speed wise right now, and these are sustained winds. Right along the coast, we're looking at 20 to 25 miles per hour, but the gusts much higher than that. So that is something that is going to be impacting us as we go through the overnight period. And because of that, we have the storm surge warning. That's in the purple, especially along the Pamlico, as well as the Neuse River, the Trench River, the Pungo, and even Bay Rivers. That's an area that we will be watching for that northeasterly flow. Even includes down East Carteret on the south side of the Sound. But that's likely to push that water back up the river and slow it from coming out. So we'll be tracking that. And the white areas that you see, that is where we're expecting to see the watch for a tropical storm surge. And again, what we're looking at with that is anywhere in the white areas, you could see 2 to 4 feet. In the purple areas, we're expecting to see somewhere right around 3 to 5 feet. You can see that in and around New Bern as you make your way down past James City. You can see the areas here just to the south of the airport. And then this one area, you see we have the darker colors here indicating possibly up to 6 feet around Washington as you head back over toward Grimesland. Again, we're keeping up with all the details, and as we go through the rest of the overnight period, the rain will stick around, and even a 60% chance tomorrow, so another weather alert day tomorrow, and then for Sunday and Monday a little drier, and then we start to slide some shower chances back into the picture as we head into the middle part of next week. It's only slight chances, but nonetheless, it's there.
Be looking forward to drying out after all this rain, Donnie. And our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues tonight. Stay with us for more live reports and what you can expect in your area.
We are tracking Ophelia. This is a picture from Morehead City. Look at all the moisture, the rough seas out here, and the winds from the north at about 26. It's definitely going to be quite windy. Another angle. This is Beaufort, Duke Marine Lab. Similar picture here. You can see the certainly the rough surf out here. The rain has been falling. Certainly windy with the north wind at 26. Information once again out at 5 o'clock. 70-mile-per-hour winds on Tropical Storm Ophelia. Moving to the northwest at about 13. It's provided providing plenty of rain and has been since early this morning. Notice that pushing across the region. Here's a live scan of radar, and you can make out where the heavier bands are. This is one area right here that runs from just about Snow Hill up to Greenville, back to Williamston and Plymouth. That is an area that's pushed through. We have more to the south. These little waves will come through, and we'll continue to track those as we head through the evening hours. And again, the potential for heavy rain, gusty winds certainly already starting to pick up, and there is the potential of the storm surge as well as some possible tornadoes involved with this tonight. At least the situation is a little more favorable toward the tornadoes. So we'll certainly continue to keep an eye on it and update you with the latest information.
All right, Donnie, and your cell phone will be a great resource tonight. You can stay up to date with the everything weather wherever you go. Hopefully you're not going far from the living room. Download the Storm Track 12 weather app. You can point your cell phone camera at the QR code right there on your screen, or find the app in your Apple or Android app store. Stay safe, everyone. Donnie has the latest track on Ophelia and what you can expect in your area. Look at all the rain. The radar lit up tonight. News Channel 12 at 5:30 is next.
Now, from News Channel 12, alerting you to severe weather danger. We begin with Storm Track 12 weather.
Well, we told you a couple of minutes ago that we were watching the numbers come up on Ophelia. And again, 70-mile-per-hour winds getting it close to hurricane strength. And you can see that the Hurricane Center has issued a hurricane watch that includes the coastal areas of Onslow County, Carteret County, Pamlico County, Southern Craven. And then, as you can see out over the waters as you head out of the Neuse into the Pamlico Sound. And it looks like places like Hoboken and the areas around Lowland, you're included in this as well. So do be on the alert as we go through the night as this system continues to move to the north. Everybody else running with that tropical storm warning that goes through Saturday. And we've been talking about this for the past 24 hours that covers most of the area. But again, 70-mile-per-hour winds moving to the north-northwest at 13. As it does, it will head toward the Crystal Coast, probably somewhere right around Atlantic Beach, left or right of a few miles, but still somewhere that's a good target for the potential landfall tomorrow morning. And it's looking like about 8 o'clock. After that, it will come ashore and move to the north. You can see that, but again, the line right here is 8 o'clock in the morning, then 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see making its way near the Virginia border. We'll continue to update you on the latest, but again, 70-mile-per-hour winds making it a very strong tropical storm, Ophelia, just off our coast.
All right, thanks, Donnie. Ophelia now getting stronger, as we've just heard, and we have team coverage tonight of Tropical Storm Ophelia, and our crews are spread out across eastern North Carolina, keeping an eye on the conditions where they are. And we begin tonight with News Channel 12's Rebecca McGann. She's live down east in Carteret County, where they're experiencing some flash flooding. And Rebecca, what's it like where you are right now?
Yeah, we're broadcasting from in our car right now because that wind and that rain is just pelting us, and we're having a couple of audio problems. So because of that wind and that visibility, it's almost going kind of horizontally right now. But if you look, I'm going to open my window here real quick, and you can kind of see how bad that flash flooding is happening, how that wind is pushing that water up here. We're right under the bridge to Highway 12 to the ferry. I'll close that because we're going to get really dancing here, but like I said, the visibility, it is getting worse. It is, the wind and the rain have really started to pick up in the past hour or so. So if you are headed down to the Down East area, please be safe, please be careful. You may not be able to see where some of these roads have been washed over. And I know that this is a normal occurrence for people down in the Down East area, but sometimes it's still good to be cautious and still good to slow down and be careful. We'll keep you posted throughout the rest of the night. Live in Carteret County, Rebecca McGann, News Channel 12.
Absolutely, and you say stay safe as well, Rebecca. Thank you. Well, the winds are picking up on the Crystal Coast beaches tonight. 4 to 6 foot waves are crashing at Atlantic Beach, and News Channel 12's Chris Young is live with a look at the beach conditions. And Chris, I imagine the rain's coming sideways there too.
Yeah, Frank, it is, and we're actually at the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. You can look behind me, and you can see the water levels are rising. Just a minute ago, you couldn't even see the other side of this waterway, but just now it started clearing up. You can actually see the houses, the buildings on the other side of the bridge, but we were out here earlier, and the waves were crashing. There were a few people on the beaches, but like I said, it's not advised to go in the water. We want people to stay safe, stay out of danger, and we will stay out here in Atlantic Beach to keep an eye on the changes of the weather right here in Atlantic Beach. Chris Young, News Channel 12.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, one of the biggest concerns in Ophelia is the storm surge, and right now it's expected to be anywhere from 3 to 5 feet, and that's always an issue for people living near the rivers and streams. And News Channel 12's Amanda Denise is joining us now from a place notorious for flooding, and that's the town of Oriental in Pamlico County. It looks like they're seeing some flooding right now, Amanda.
Frank, yes. So Donnie mentioned earlier about the winds, and the winds are really strong. And actually, there is a lot of flooding from where we are standing right now. We are around the corner from the Marina Inn where we were earlier today. We're on Main Street and Factory Street. As you can see, there is a high water sign. Belfinch, just pan down here below for me, and you can see all of this water. We actually just had a Jeep drive through here. I wouldn't advise it, but he did. And he actually pushed a lot of water up onto this area that we're standing in right now. So Again, guys, be safe and use your best precaution when you're taking this route, because it is a lot of flooding. Belfast, just pan down there for me. You can see it's flooded all the way down the end of this street. And then behind Belfast here is a as a driveway, excuse me, and it's flooded here. So if they're thinking about moving out, they have to use precaution as well. But again, guys, we are continuing to monitor these conditions here. Strong winds, heavy rain. So just stay with us on air and online, and we'll be reporting live from Oriental some more later this evening.
Yeah, and be careful. I'm sure the water's going to continue to rise as the storm gets closer. Thanks, Amanda. Well, stormy weather is having an impact on a number of things, from power outages to closings tonight. News Channel 12's Tyler Harden is in the newsroom with the latest on that. Tyler?
Frank, we are checking in to see how many outages there are across Eastern Carolina. Just moments ago, the Duke Energy map, it did re-update. There were about 100 or so power outages down east. That now is gone down to 1. So I saw the crews out during my drive-in. They are out there and they are ready if anything happens with the power. So good thing there. I do want to point out, if we just go south a little bit, look at Wilmington, 883 power outages at this current time. That is for Duke Energy. I do want to also head over into Onslow County. This is the Jones Onslow Electric. Right now, they have about across the county, we see 148 people who are without power right now. I want to dial into this road. This is Queens Creek Road, where there's 94 outages. So far, these people have been without power for 42 minutes. Their restoration time is going to be around 8 o'clock. So they have a little while to go before that power can get on if you do live off of Queens Creek Road in Onslow County. Now, one thing we do want to see is what it looks out, outside your window. If you can get to a safe space, make sure you snap a photo. Some people have already sent photos in to us. This is a photo from Ray in Morehead City. Just take a look at the view there. This is right off the water, and you can see some of those waves rippling in. Another photo from Ray as well. A closer look, you can see even looks like a boat out there. So certainly stay safe if you're able to take some photos and send it to us. Last one here is from Carroll. This is in River Bend. You can already see that water inching up. It looks like these two benches are now almost about to be flooded here as that water continues to creep in. This might be Carol's backyard. So we appreciate if you send those photos in. Try to send those into our Chime In page. All you have to do is go to WCTI12.com/chime in. You can submit them there, or also submit them on our mobile app. We would love to see them, and a reminder to stay safe while you snap those photos. Frank?
All right, thanks, Tyler. We love those pictures, so keep them coming, and you can stay up to date with everything weather wherever you go. Just download the Storm Track 12 weather app, and you can point your cell phone at the QR code you see there on your screen, or you can find the app on your Apple or Android app store. Well, our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues after the break. Stay with us as we continue to keep you updated on the latest conditions along the Crystal Coast. Don't go away.
You've been seeing our crews out covering all of the locations across eastern Carolina as we track Ophelia. And again, here's the current wind speeds. Take a look along the coast, 20 to 25, occasionally up to 30. These are sustained winds. Let's take a look now at the gusts. Notice these jump up to 40 to 50 in some locations. So again, you can see the 46 at Oriental, 46 at Havelock, 44 at Beaufort. Even inland locations now starting to get up in that 30 to 35 mile per hour category. So it's going to create a surge concern. All of the areas in purple is a surge warning. That means 3 to 5 feet of water level rise is certainly possible. Southern part of the Albemarle Sound, the counties that are associated with that, that's Washington, Terrell, and Dare, as well as the southern parts of Onslow County. That watch means you can see 2 to 4 feet. Now, we do also want to point out that some of the areas that we are keeping an eye on just to the west of New Bern, and the Neuse flowing down past New Bern, which is located right here. Here's the airport, the Coastal Carolina Regional Airport. You can see around Bryce's Creek, even down as we make our way toward River Bend on the Trent River, we can see some of those areas. And then we're also tracking this area that makes its way from Washington back over toward Grimesland. You can see, could even see up to 6 feet with that particular area, especially whenever you get into the high tide. We've had the high tide for this afternoon, but again, we'll have another about 121 tomorrow morning, 209 tomorrow afternoon. Those certainly could create issues as we have the surge along with the high tide. And Frank, just a reminder that Ophelia is very strong at 70 mile per hour winds in southern Craven. Coastal Onslow, Carteret, and Pamlico County have now been placed under a hurricane watch.
All right, so there is that potential it could strengthen even more. Thanks, Donnie. Well, red flags are flying on the beaches along our coast tonight as growing waves and strong winds whip up the surf. People have gathered along the beaches to check it out. And, of course, they're being warned to stay out of the water. News Channel 12's Luke Schwartz is in Emerald Isle tonight with what it's looking like there. Luke, how bad is it?
Well, if you hope to get a tan today, that might be out the window. But that hasn't stopped the surfers from coming out here at Emerald Isle to go catch some nice waves. They said they've seen some remains of some jellyfish that have stung them. But other than that, that hasn't really kept people away from the beach. But I will say there has been a consistent rain for the past few hours that we have been stationed here. It's picked up a little bit, but not too bad to where you're completely soaked and drenched. But the wind has been the strongest part. It has been a forceful current throughout. On the way up here, we noticed that a barbecue had fallen over because of the strong winds. And folks, this wasn't just a Weber grill that was your standalone. This thing was meaty, probably a Traeger grill. It could probably cook a nice brisket, and that thing just toppled over like it was nothing. So the winds are seriously strong out here, and the waves, you might be able to see it behind me, but they've been crashing with some rough surf. And of course, Frank, you mentioned it there, we've got red flags at the beach too, which means that you need to be very aware of your surroundings. Be cautious when you're on the beach, and just understand that there's a lot going on, and it could get to an uptick very quickly. So just being safe and wearing the right stuff. Make sure you're wearing a coat, some pants, and some good rain boots that make sure you stay dry during all this rain. I'll have more updates for you in case it goes up, or if it goes down. Hopefully it does go down, but be sure to stay safe. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Luke. Well, Tropical Storm Ophelia is expected to be a strong rainmaker as well. All the rain combined with the storm surge is creating some flooding concerns along rivers and streams further inland. And meteorologist Grant Carlton is in New Bern tonight, where flooding has, of course, been an issue in the past. And Grant, what's it like where you are?
Yeah, good evening, Frank. Yeah, we're here in Union Point Park. We were on Front Street earlier. They're starting to barricade not just Union Point Park, but also Front Street. Right now, you can see some of the overwash coming from the Neuse River here into Union Point Park. This is normal. This is about a foot, maybe 2 feet of inundation at most. You see the ducks are enjoying the overwash here, but we are heading into low tide right now. So low tide is about an hour and a half away, around 7:20, 7:30. So we're already seeing above normal water levels. After that, we'll start to see some of the worst impacts in terms of the storm surge, specifically here in New Bern, as the water continues to get pushed up the Neuse River. So that's one of our biggest concerns. The breeze is picking up still, probably about 20, 25 mile per hour wind gusts here right now, but that is going to continue to increase in the overnight as the storm moves closer. And we will continue to keep you updated on the inundation here in New Bern.
For News Channel 12, I'm meteorologist Grant Carlton reporting in Craven County.
All right. Thanks, Grant. Well, our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues. After the break, we'll have more. Chief Meteorologist Donnie Cox will be along in just a couple of minutes with more on the forecast and the storm's track. Don't go away.
All eyes on Ophelia making its way toward the coast, and the Hurricane Center has now dropped in a hurricane watch that runs through tomorrow for part of our area, and that's Carteret County, coastal Onslow, southern Craven, and Pamlico County, and then as you head out the Neuse River onto the Sound. So again, we have seen some increase in strength of the storm system, and Ophelia is at 70-mile-per-hour winds. Now, we still have the tropical storm warning for the entire area, and again, as I mentioned, 70-mile-per-hour winds moving to the north-northwest at 13, so that's taking it just toward the Crystal Coast. So somewhere along the Crystal Coast over to about Cape Lookouts where we expect to see Ophelia to come ashore, but it's going to be in the overnight period toward tomorrow. You can see making its way toward the coast by tomorrow morning, and then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon will start to weaken as it moves across eastern Carolina and on up toward the Virginia border during the afternoon. After that, it will move up near Washington and then eventually into Pennsylvania, curving back out somewhere near New York City or maybe just south of New York City along Long Island. So we'll certainly be tracking that. We do have the rain that's continuing to make its way back to the northwest, these bands or waves coming in, and you can see there's one there, another here comes another, and again, these are just making their way onshore, making its way across the region. The green indicating some lighter rain or maybe some breaks. I think as we get the system a little closer in the overnight, we may actually go to more of a showery type activity. We'll just have to keep an eye on that for you. You can see that as of right now, we do have quite a bit of rain, but again, this is going to wrap around and make its way right on into the area. Some of these actually producing quite a bit of thunderstorm activity out over the water. And again, as you take a look at the entire area, we've just been dealing with rain. So we have the flood watch that runs through Saturday evening as well. And part of the reason, look at all the rain totals, anywhere up to 2 to 4 inches. And then as you get a little bit more to the east, could even see some isolated areas of 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. Now, here's the future track to show you going through this evening. That rain continues to wrap in. wind, but I mentioned a little bit of a break, and you can see that right here around midnight or so. And then here comes the actual storm system. Ophelia should start to make its way to the north. And again, we're going to be tracking some potential out there for heavy rain, gusty winds, and you do have to keep in mind there is the risk of some tornadoes possible tonight as this passes on to the north, but this takes you up to about 6 o'clock Saturday night. Things should start to improve. Notice the winds start to swing out of the southwest. That's going to help as far as clearing out the rivers, but as this makes its way across the Sound, the Outer Banks, we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on the Sound side of the Outer Banks at that point, as it will take the water and push it across. So places like Ocracoke, Cape Hatteras, as well as Avon, and continuing on up to Rodanthe, those areas, you're going to see that as a possibility. I mentioned the storm potential. You see the tornado on there. That means mainly to the east of Highway 17. Doesn't mean you will not see the potential to the west. It's just less of a threat. And again, this runs for tonight into tomorrow morning. Forecast tonight, dropping back into the 60s. But again, the main thing is going to be tropical storm conditions across the region. 7-day forecast. Over the next couple of days, we'll start to see things improve after tomorrow. You see the weather alert day, 60% chance in the afternoon. Frank, things will start to improve tomorrow. And then Sunday and Monday should be dry. And we're only going to have about a 20% chance of rain through Monday and Tuesday, but still quite a bit of cloud cover. But the main thing is getting this system out of here and to the north over the weekend. Everybody just needs to be cautious and take extreme care.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some cleanup that's going to have to happen, especially after some of that flash flooding. Thanks, Donnie. Our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia and what comes our way next is still ahead. Don't go away. We'll take you to the latest conditions and show you some of the flooding in areas around town.
Once again, the new thing for the top of the hour is we've had a couple of our counties that have been added into a hurricane watch. And as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Ophelia now with 70-mile-per-hour winds. You can see Pamlico County, Southern Craven, all of Carteret County, and where you head out of the New Son to the Sound, plus the coastal areas of Onslow County with that hurricane watch that runs through tomorrow night. We also have the tropical storm warning, as you can see, for the entire area that runs through tomorrow. 70 miles mile-per-hour winds, so we'll be anxiously waiting to see what the 8 o'clock number has with this storm system as it moves to the northwest at about 13. And you can see that the track will bring it into our area tomorrow morning. 2 o'clock in the afternoon should be in the northern part of the viewing area, headed into Virginia, and then curving across the nation's capital, headed up toward New York City. Here's some of the wind speeds across the region. These are sustained winds, notice along the coast, but look at these gusts, actually up into the 40 to 45, maybe even 50 mile per hour gusts this afternoon. Inland areas even looking at 30 to 35 miles per hour. Frank will continue to track this system and the latest information as we go through the afternoon.
All right, thank you, Donnie. And again, you can stay up to date with everything weather and wherever you go, on the move or right there at the palm of your hand, and just download the Storm Track 12 weather app, and you can point your cell phone at the QR code and shoot that screen. It'll take you right where you need to go, or you can find the app on your Apple or Android app store. And our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues right after the break. Stay with us. News Channel 12 at 6 is coming right up.
Now, from News Channel 12, alerting you to severe weather danger. We begin with Storm Track 12 weather.
Tracking Ophelia, that's what we've been doing for a couple of days, because tracking storms is what we do to keep you and your family safe. And we've been tracking this one as it's been developing down off the southeast coast. And all the way up to now, we have a hurricane watch that's been issued by the Hurricane Center for Southern Onslow, Carteret, southern part of Craven County, as well as Pamlico County, and where you head out onto the Pamlico Sound from the Neuse River. Again, that is new as of 5 o'clock. Here's the latest information as far far as the tropical storm warning. Hasn't changed. It's all the same for all of our counties included in that tropical storm warning. And the latest information, here's why that hurricane watch was issued. Take a look, 70-mile-per-hour winds. We only have to get 74, so we're certainly a very strong tropical storm Ophelia right now, moving to the north-northwest at 13 with 986 millibars of pressure. It'll make its way into our area tomorrow morning and then across the region and up to near the North Carolina-Virginia border by 2 o'clock in the afternoon before continuing on through the nation's capital and heading up toward New York. We've been seeing the rain all day long, and you can see those heavy bands of rain moving in from the southeast to the northwest, and quite a bit of rain across the region, maybe getting some breaks in some areas for now, but down to the south, still plenty of rain that will roll in as we go through the nighttime period. Could even be some severe weather that we'll continue to track as those storms begin to make its way in. We have a flood watch that continues through tomorrow evening, and part of the reason, look at these rainfall totals that we'll see by the time this finally moves out of the area Saturday into Sunday. I'll break down any updates that come down as the Hurricane Center and the Weather Service provides those, and we'll keep you up to date with the latest track all coming up within the next couple of minutes.
All right, very good, Donnie. Thank you. Well, we have team coverage tonight of Tropical Storm Ophelia as it makes its way through the Carolinas.
We started our coverage early this morning, and we continue to see the impacts tonight. News Channel 12's Chris Young is checking out the conditions in Morehead City, and we can hear it roar. Chris, what's going on?
Well, I'm not even sure if you guys can really hear me very well, but we're on the coastal inter-Atlantic waterway yet again. We're on the other side of the bridge, more towards Atlantic Beach, and you can actually see how violent these waves are crashing up against this little pier we're on. And it is pretty bad. The wind is absolutely picked up, and we are trying to stay upright. As I said before, definitely stay away from the water. Stay safe. The winds are picking back up, and we will keep you updated as the storm goes on. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. And looks like it's definitely picking up where you are. Now to Oriental, where the rising waters from the Neuse River are creating some street flooding, and Amanda Denise has been there all afternoon. She's joining us now live with more on the conditions at this hour. Has it changed any, Amanda?
Frank, to answer your question, no, it has not changed. If anything, it has gotten worse. I would like to say that I'm having a good time, but I'm not. But we are here in Oriental. We moved around the corner from the Marina Inn. We are here actually near the intersection of Main Street down there. And my photographer, Belle Fance, if you can just pan down here at the bottom where my feet are, and you can see just how much water it is. So we are advising people just to kind of steer clear of this area. Earlier today, we did see a truck drive through here, and they were taking it very slow. So West is saying, don't drown, turn around, be safe, use safety precautions when in this area. Again, we will continue to monitor the area. Just walk with me down here a little bit. As you can see, the water is extending all the way down this street. It is water on top of water on top of water. It is a high water sound down here. I don't know if you can see it from this distance. But again, just please use your best precaution when over here in this area. And we will continue to keep you updated on air and online as we continue to monitor these conditions, heavy rain and strong winds. So just stay with us throughout the evening.
Great advice there, Amanda. Thank you so much. And if it's safe for you to do so, you can take pictures and also video, share them with us via Chime In on our website. We're heading back to Carteret County now. News Channel 12's Luke Schwartz is live in Emerald Isle. And Luke, are you seeing any heavy rain right now?
Yeah, not only am I seeing heavy rain, but if you were to ask me about the wind conditions about 20 minutes ago, I would have said it's just average, sifting through the beach, but now it is heavily picked up. We're getting some very strong winds, and I'm, a mile basically away from the beach. We just got a really good camera shot on me right now, but raging waters, as you can see behind me, and also the rain too has surged in number as well. And just 20 minutes ago, I kid you not, it did not look or feel like this, and we've been told all day that stuff would pick up. So you're starting to feel it right now. And across Emerald Isle Beach, there's a bunch of red flags, and the red flags basically mean there's rough turf, be aware of your surroundings, and there's just some scary situations down here if you're not precautious about it. But that doesn't mean there haven't been some risk takers down here as well. I've seen a few couples come down. Some surfers have been enjoying it too. They have noticed that there are some debris of jellyfish that have stuck to them, but nothing too severe. So mostly it's just been being precautious about your situation and understanding that from the start of today to where we are right now, it has increased in terms of how strong the winds are, the rain, and the water out there. But I'll keep you updated if I hear anything or feel anything that changes within the weather over these next few hours. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, and we can see that rough surf right there behind you. You can stay up to date on Ophelia's track wherever you go. You can download the Storm Track 12 weather app. Point your cell phone camera at the QR code on the screen or find the app in your Apple or Android app store. Our coverage of Tropical Storm Ophelia continues tonight.
And stay safe out there, everybody. And as you can see on the Doppler radar map, those rain bands continue to move over land and onshore. More rain and more coverage of the storm straight ahead.
Storm Track 12, tracking Ophelia coverage, is sponsored by Kellum Law Firm and Riverside Automotive Group.
And as you take a look at the latest information from Tropical Storm Ophelia, again, 70-mile-per-hour winds is what we're looking at, and that's getting awful close to hurricane strength, so therefore a hurricane watch has been issued for southern or the coastal areas of Onslow County, southern Craven, Carteret, and Pamlico County. And you can see the storm right here, again, moving to the north-northwest at about 13. All morning long, it's been providing these waves of rain across the area, and you can see still some of those holding up. We'll see some breaks as we go through the evening, and then as we get into the overnight period, those rain chances will pick back up. But you can see certainly that we do have the red and the orange and the yellow indicating where the heavier rain bands, and then there are certain areas that are taking a little bit of a break, and you heard that from Luke a couple of minutes ago on our live shots. It was a break, and now it's picking up again for his location. And again, what we're looking at here continues to be the rain offshore that will push in our direction. We'll continue to track this, but again, as we go through the evening, the main thing, the heavy rain. We'll also see the potential out there for a storm surge and those gusty winds that could have wind gusts up to 50, 60 miles per hour or even more in isolated areas. We'll break down all the latest and keep you up to date throughout the evening. Well, this afternoon, we've been tracking all of the information on Ophelia. And again, let's take a look at Morehead City right now. Those winds still out of the northeast at 25, and you can see the ripple effect on the water here. It's backing up the water as well. And certainly that's going to be the big concern that we have. Another shot for you as you take a look at the Duke Marine Lab in Beaufort. Plenty of rain falling. It's windy again, northeast at 25 at the Duke Marine Lab. And again, the water, you can see that the wind is whipping it around. So it looks like as we go through the overnight period, we'll continue to see the rain, the gusty winds that could create a surge issue. All of those things are going to be a concern. But we do want to point out that we have a hurricane watch that was issued at 5 o'clock. Southern parts of Onslow County, you can see southern Craven County, Pamlico County, and Carteret County, even where you come out of the Neuse River into the Pamlico Sound and the Bay River as well. Those areas have been put under that hurricane watch through tomorrow. And part of the reason for that continues to be the strong winds that we're seeing with Ophelia, up to 70-mile-per-hour winds. We'll show you the currents here in just a second. Most all of the area is still continuing under that tropical storm warning, with the exception, of course, adding to it the hurricane watch that I just showed you. Now, Ophelia, right here, spinning just south of our coast. It's about 160 miles to the south, and you can see with 986 millibars of pressure, 70-mile-per-hour winds, a very strong system, moving to the north-northwest at about 13. And it's going to take it toward our coast for tomorrow morning. Notice tomorrow morning it should cross the coast by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. May actually be in the northern parts of the viewing area, somewhere up near Bertie County, if not up to the border with Virginia. We'll certainly see this move on then to near the nation's capital and eventually into Pennsylvania, starting to turn its way back out just south of Long Island. But again, this mainly taking us out through Sunday night. Now, as you take a look at the wind speeds currently along the coast, 25 to 30 mile per hour wind speeds. There's the 29 at Havelock, 25 at New Bern. But as we go through the rest of the evening, those gusts that we talk about, the wind gusts, are going to certainly hop on up into the 40 to 50 mile per hour categories if they're not there already along the coast in the southern part of the viewing area. We've been seeing 45 to 50 mile per hour gusts. That's going to create the surge you see in the purple. That is a surge warning. And again, that's for all of the areas in purple and the Pungo River, the Pamlico River, the Bay River, the Neuse River, and even down as you make your way toward River Bend on the Trent River, you're going to see some surge. It could be 3 to 5 feet. Now, the areas in white, what we're looking at is the storm surge watch, and you could see anywhere from 2 to 4 feet of surge along the southern part of the Albemarle Sound and the coastal areas of Onslow County. Now, here's the potential surge we were just talking about. You can see making your way down the Neuse into New Bern right here. And then as you make your way out just near the airport with Bryce's Creek, there's the Trent. And then as you head off to the north near Washington, continuing back over toward Grimesland, you can see even an orange area. That indicates you could see anywhere up to 4 to 6 feet as far as some of the surge. So that is a concern right here by the computer models that we're keeping an eye on. Otherwise, like Madam Mesquite, you'll see some of the surge potential, the Pungo River, and then as you make your way south, we'll also see along the Carteret and Onslow beaches and even into the New River. We're going to keep an eye on that. Here's the current radar. And again, what we're looking at is the rain bands that continue to move across the area. Those rain bands certainly will start to pick up as we head through the overnight again. So we're going to see waves of the rainfall. And it appears right now that a little bit of a break not out of the question in the evening and overnight. But then as we head into tomorrow, we'll continue a 60% chance and a weather alert day for tomorrow. Then on Sunday and Monday will actually start to dry out a little bit. Sunday, a lot of people trying to move the things they had to plan for Saturday. They're trying to move to Sunday. So hopefully we'll help everybody out trying to accommodate those schedules.
Yeah, we're going to definitely need some time to dry out for sure. Thanks, Donnie. Well, our coverage continues now of Tropical Storm Ophelia. And as Donnie was mentioning, we're now seeing some of that storm surge now moving into some areas. Meteorologist Grant Carlton is live in New Bern tonight where he's seeing some of this inundation. Right, Grant?
Yep, good evening, Frank, Val, Donnie. Yeah, I'm here in Lawson Creek Park in New Bern. As Donnie mentioned, Tropical Storm Ophelia is about 150 miles to our south, but conditions are quickly deteriorating already with an expected landfall early tomorrow morning. Notice we're already seeing about a foot of inundation inundation here at Lawson Creek Park. We were in Union Point Park and Front Street in New Bern. That is not washed over right now, but it will be as we progress throughout the night. One thing I wanted to mention we've been kind of hammering is low tide, high tide time, very important for Ophelia. We're heading into about an hour away from low tide, so the water should be receding, but we are seeing it rise. And as we head into high tide around 1:30 a.m. tonight, that's when possibly the worst of the inundation could happen. As Johnny mentioned, 3 to 5 feet along our News River, News River and adjacent creeks. So if you have any driving to do, best to get it down, get done now, and continue to track conditions for News Channel 12. I'm meteorologist Grant Carlson reporting.
All right, Grant, thank you. We have a couple of cancellations to tell you about tonight. The Emerald Isle Beach Music Festival is now called off because of all the rain and wind. Organizers say they are working to try to bring back the event at a later date. And the Beaufort Pirate Invasion is still happening at the Gallants Channel extension, but with one change. The Pirates Parlay that was set for tonight will now take place Sunday. Right now, everything else is expected to go on as planned.
The Jones County Heritage Festival also canceled. Officials say that they'll continue to update the community on their social media on future plans. They are hoping to reschedule at some point. The second Free Boo Friday of the season also canceled today as well. Downtown Greenville Partnership made the announcement on social media today. The group says that Free Boo Friday will be back for the homecoming celebration on October the 20th, featuring Sean Kingston. And Pamlico Sound ferry departures also canceled for the weekend, and that's according to the North Carolina Ferry System and their officials there. Departures from Cedar Island, Swan Quarter, and Ocracoke are all canceled today as well.
Well, so much rain has fallen so far, but there is more to come.
That's right. The storm continuing to move this way, closer to shore, raising some potential hurricane watches in different areas. And, of course, Donnie Cox is keeping an eye on all of it for us. He'll be back with more after this.
In tracking Ophelia, again, you can see some of the breaks we talked about a second ago. The wind's not giving us a break. Still northeast at 28 as we look at Morehead City, but the rain has let up just a little bit. You can see pretty good visibility off in the distance. And another shot from down along the waterfront, Duke Marine Lab. 28-mile-per-hour winds, though, certainly making it very breezy. And this is sustained winds. The gusts are up to 45 to 50 in some locations. Now, we do have the hurricane watch, as we mentioned. That includes Carteret County, Pamlico Pamlico County, southern Craven, and coastal Onslow. And again, where you head out into the Sound off of the Bay and the Neuse River. We still have the tropical storm warning in effect. Here's the latest information as of 5 o'clock, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and this will continue to move off to the north. And again, a new update at 8 o'clock. We'll have to keep a close eye on it because at 70 miles per hour, this thing has really strengthened quite a bit since earlier this afternoon. We'll have that update coming up this evening as well at 8 o'clock when that update from the Hurricane Center comes out.
All right, Donnie, thanks. And we're also getting updates on road closures, power outages, and more. News Channel 12's Tyler Hardnett closely following it all. He joins us in the newsroom.
Val, at this hour, there is one traffic incident associated with Tropical Storm Ophelia. Right now, NCT is reporting that in Surf City. It's NC 50 South Shore Drive. Now, they say that the road is flooded at this time. It's not closed. Just take a look at the amount of backup you see here from that weather event there in Surf City. They say that low-profile vehicles, they may stall, so you need to proceed with caution. Obviously, turn around, don't drown. Now, let's head up north towards the Outer Banks. These are some of the live cameras right now we're getting from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Right here, this is Hatteras Inlet Ferry North. You can see the lot's completely empty because those ferries are not running right now because of the storm. If we move to NC 12, north of Hatteras Village, you can see those massive waves coming. Right here we have the dunes. And then as far as the NC 12 at this area, it is pretty clear. I can see the lines on the roads. But if you move a little bit farther down to NC 12 at Buxton, you can see where there's a lot, it looks like that surf coming up where it's coming over the roads. You can see some of these condos right here are being affected by the storm. Now, turning to flights, some people may have a flight out. Well, guess what? It's canceled now. At Pitt Greenville Airport, the flight that's supposed to be leaving at 11:58 tonight, that's canceled. If we move to coastal Carolina, we have several flights that are canceled tonight. One that was supposed to take off just a couple of minutes ago. So several flights coming into Eastern Carolina and out of Eastern Carolina are canceled at this hour. At OAJ, we have a canceled flight that's supposed to leave at 8:24, so people are having to adjust their plans due to this storm. Now let's move over to some power outages. We do have a couple of outages in Onslow County right here. If we zoom in, we had an outage earlier. It looks like just within the past couple of minutes, that outage has now been resolved. So thankfully there is one with 36 customers that are affected. And in moving up, we have some outages right off of Highway 70 in Williston. Crews are working to get that under control. And just want to briefly share some photos that have come into our newsroom. I mean, just incredible images here. So if you can take a photo, snap that safely and send that to our Chime In page. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Tyler. And speaking of photos, we are getting some great photographs from viewers in Eastern Carolina. I want to show a couple more to you right now. This one comes to us from Carol O'Hanlon, and you can see that the water level is rising there in the park in River Bend, right near her home. And check out this photograph from Morehead City. Ray Tillery sent this one in. It's a great shot of the water there, some sailboats in the backdrop, and you can find more photos like these on our website, WCTI12.com. And if you send in your photos for us, we want to use them online and on air, so please be sure to include your name and the location, and you just might see those pictures on TV. Of course, a lot happening, Donnie.
Well, there's quite a bit going on. You can still see the rain well to the south. That can get wrapped around in this evening. But as of right now, you can see these waves it's been going through. A little bit of a break, and then it'll pick up again. So you're going to see that. And the radar certainly showing that we do have some of the light rain in the green, but the heavier rain in the orange, red, and yellow. And again, as we go through the overnight, they'll just be passing through in waves. We could see heavy rain, gusty winds with a storm surge potential, as well as a tornado potential. Otherwise, tomorrow, weather alert day, and that's because this will continue into tomorrow as the center passes to the north.
Donnie, you will continue to track this storm through the night.
We'll be here.
All righty.
Stay safe, everybody.